Megan. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad you're here. If you're a subscriber or an old friend returning, thank you so much. Today I am making challah bread. If you don't know what it is, you need to try it. It's a delicious traditional Jewish brioche. It is so easy to make from scratch or otherwise. It's really, really delicious. I'm going to show you how to make a 3-strand braid and a 6-strand braid. All right here in my teeny tiny kitchen with my crazy kids hollering in the background because this is real life. Stick around and we'll be making it shortly. So step 1 is we need to proof our yeast. So we put in 1.5 cups of warm water. You want this around 90 degrees, definitely under 100 degrees, but really it's just warm to touch. Warmer than lukewarm, but nowhere near hot, because if it's hot, it kills your yeast. Next, we add, if you're using active dry yeast by the packet, you'll want 2 packets. Otherwise, you want 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. You killed your pig. Give it a little stir to kind of, since I'll be using my dough hook to mix it, I just use my dough hook to stir by hand and avoid, you want to stir it gently, but you kind of want to just get it to, it'll float on top of the water if you don't help it incorporate. So, oh man, what are you doing? I'm sure many mamas in the kitchen know what this feels like, but yeah, shoving himself between me and the cupboard. It's his thing. All right, now we've given the yeast a chance to wake up, and now we need to feed it. So we're going to give it, we'll be adding a little bit more sugar in a moment, but right now we're going to give it 2 tablespoons. And then we'll give it another mix just to kind of incorporate that yeast. A gentle stir. Just swirl it around. And now we're going to give it a chance to bloom, which means the yeast is going to wake up the rest of the way, and it's going to start gobbling up the sugar, and like I tell my kids, it starts to burp. And that's where we get our foam and our leavening action. So we're going to give it about 5 to 10 minutes. Some yeast may work faster, some's a little slower, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Okay, so we have nicely proofed yeast. You can see it's nice and foamy and fluffy in there. That means it's awake, doing its job. Pardon me, I have the hiccups and I can't get them to go away. So, next ingredients we're going to add are 6 cups of, my goodness, 6 cups of bread flour. If you do not have bread flour, you can substitute all-purpose flour, but you also need to add 2 teaspoons of, excuse me, vital wheat gluten, because the reason bread flour works is that it has a higher gluten content. So you can use 6 cups of all-purpose flour, but you would also need 12 teaspoons or, oh goodness, 4 tablespoons, 12 teaspoons or 4 tablespoons of vital wheat gluten. So here we have 6 cups of bread flour. Excuse me. Alright, there's our 6 cups of bread flour. We also need 6 tablespoons of butter, or you can do a dairy-free butter substitute if you need to do something dairy-free. Today, it just needs to be semi-solid fat. You can use ghee. Today we are using refined coconut oil. Mostly because I went to get the butter and realized I'm out. Who runs out of butter? Well, I made this twice already this week, so that's probably why. Enjoy the real life sounds of children fighting in the background while you're in the kitchen. This is how we roll. Need a little bit more of the refined coconut oil. No, I'm not measuring exactly. I kind of know what it looks like because I bake all the time. So we have 6 tablespoons of our fat. We need 4 eggs. Challah is a brioche. So it is a fluffy, flaky, really rich, eggy bread. I don't know if you can make it vegan with the same kind of textural results. I haven't tried though. Now we need 1/3 cup of sugar. You can use something like the unrefined cane sugars, like turbinado and such, but the texture might be a little different. You might want to dissolve that all in the water so that you don't end up with crunchies throughout your loaves. Alright, now we need 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt today. And now you mix it up. It's going to take a little while to come together because it is rather thick. You can do this with a spatula if you don't have a stand mixer. You can do it with your hands too. For the longest time, I made bread with my hands. It is a very, very valid art. And you need strong hands. My hands used to get very sore from kneading, or very tired anyway, from kneading. But this is going to bring it all together to a soft dough. And then we will let it knead, or you can knead it by hand, however you're doing it, for 5 to 7 minutes until you have a nice, stretchy, smooth dough. We have a nice, smooth dough here. Nice and smooth and elastic. And it's all pulled together. It's tacky to touch a little bit, but it stays in one piece. It doesn't pull away. I'm going to give the bowl a little oil. I do the lazy thing. I use a little cooking spray because I use purely spray olive oil. Put it in there, turn it over a couple times to get oil on all sides of the loaf. And then you can cover it with saran wrap or a cloth, and you leave it in a warm, relatively warm, draft-free place to rise for about an hour. My trick is that I cheat and I put mine in the oven. It's draft-free, and my kids aren't going to touch it and mess with it and want to see it because it's hiding in there. Haha. For about an hour. We are set. Our dough has about doubled. It's very soft. We'll just kind of punch it down. And now we will get out flour and dust our surface. I'm going to be making 2 loaves. One is going to be a 6-strand challah. The other is going to be a 3-strand challah. The 3-strand is definitely easier and still looks very pretty, but the 6-strand is just a lot of fun and really neat. So we have this nice, really beautiful elastic dough here. I'm going to split it in half. Clothes are done in the dryer. We're gonna get one nice and doused in flour, but shake off the excess. Set it off to the side. And this one we will start with and do the 3-strand loaf. And just split it up into about thirds. You can feel each ball and you'll see what it feels like. They'll be about the same weight. Yeah. And going to roll them into ropes. You can roll them this way, or you can roll them out on the surface. You just roll them out into ropes. Shake off the extra flour. And set them off to the side. Another one. You just want them all to be about the same length. They're going to shrink back down a little when you put them off to the side, so make them a teeny bit longer than what you'd actually like them to be. Enjoy the authentic Minecraft conversation in the background, because, you know, everybody wants to be Ender Dragons. But the question is, do you want 2 heads or 3 heads? Kind of want them even. I've got a little thickness here in the middle. It's not a huge deal, but ideally they'll be even. All right. So, once you have all 3 strands, you're just going to pinch the ends together gently. And now you're just going to braid it like hair. Go over one, under the other. Just make sure it's tucked up nice and neat. And then you just keep doing the same thing. Start at the right, over, under, over, and then under, over, and then under. And you go over, and then under, over, and then under, over, and then under. And you just keep going all the way to the end until it's done. Then you tuck that end under. Tuck this end under. Kind of just make it uniform. It's gonna proof and get nice and puffy. So then we'll brush egg on it and make it shiny. But for now, we'll set it off to the side here on a greased cookie sheet. You can also use a stone if that's how you prefer to do it. Now we'll just kind of redistribute the flour on the surface. Grab the other piece of dough and go in for our 6-strand. Now we're gonna split it into 3, and then each piece we will split into half. This one's a little small. And then we're gonna follow the same process of making strands. These strands are going to be a little thinner, but you want them just as long. And it's good that they're thinner because then you're not going to have a super dense loaf that doesn't cook well in the middle or something like that because it's so much. This does not want to roll for me. All right, next piece. Cloak it a little. Start the round shape, nice and smooth. Aaron James. Real life going on here, y'all. Ella, listen to your brother's words, please.
We're just being invisible.
Listen to your brother's words, please. See? It's considerably thinner than it was with the 3-strand. But you want that. So you give it a little cloak. Start the nice round smooth shape. And then roll. You can roll by whatever method works best for you, but this is what works best for me. Kind of just done this over the years, roll it back and forth between my hands. And then stretch it on the surface a little more. And then it's about the same length and thickness as the others were. Set it off to the side. And just like with the other one, they're going to shrink down a little bit more. But that's all right. This is our 4th of the 6. Just keep rolling them out. And your strands may not be perfectly even. That's all right. It works. Just keep rolling them out to nice long snakes. My kids loved when they started helping me make challah, because it was like making snakes with clay dough. This is a really fun one to get the kids involved in. Today, as you can tell, they are busy with their Minecraft turns.
See, isn't it cool? Now throw a potion upon me. I'm gonna go on down and tell a fly.
Baby is napping, and the big kids are having turns on their devices because it is Fun Friday. Last Friday was errand day, where we did our big bi-weekly grocery shopping trip. Got the haul video posted here if you care about such things. And out of space here with all my other ropes. All right, today is Fun Friday. So just like with the 3-strand, put them all together and press them together at the top. Just a little smush there. And now, this you just kind of get in a rhythm. So first, you cross this one all the way over. Then you cross that one all the way over. And that's how you start. Next, you're going to take this one and put it down in the center. And then this one back out. And now this one goes down in the center. And this, second to the left, goes back out to the top. And now this one, pardon me, this one goes down in the center, and this replaces it out at the top. All right, now this one goes down in the center, and this replaces it out at the top. We still always have our 4 down in the center. And now this one comes down in the middle. You kind of want to tuck them up there, keep it nice and neatly braided, and this replaces it out at the top. And now this comes down to the center, and this places it at the top. And now this one comes down to the center of the 4, and this replaces it at the top. And you just keep going, bringing down one from the side down to the center and replacing it. And taking turns going back and forth, left and right. Now this is a little thin. I probably should have done that thicker. I've been more careful about that, but my family's eating it. We're not selling these. Come up. And then bring this one down, and this replaces it. And this one down, and this replaces it.
See those bubbles? It's right there.
And bring this one down, and that replaces it. And you just keep going till all your strands are used up. Place it, bring it down, replace it, bring it down, replace it, bring it down. Ooh. And then when you get to the end, you just tuck them under, kind of squish them together on the bottom there. And there you are. It's going to expand and get puffy and lovely as it proofs. So we'll set it off to the side on a greased pan. And we will wait, cover them with our cloth again. And we'll give them as long as they need until they're about doubled in size. In about probably 15 minutes, I will start the oven to preheat at 350 degrees. Chilly here this morning, so it's been about an hour now. The oven is preheated, but they have proofed. You can tell they're nice and puffy and lovely. And now you're going to take a beaten egg. This is 2, since there are 2 loaves, and just brush it on. Some people do back and forth over the whole loaf. I like to brush each strand, especially with the 3-strand when it's not so much, because then you really get definition to the strands once it's baked, and it's not that hard. You just give it a brush. I'm just using a regular basting brush. If you have pastry brushes, those work too. Well, you got to be gentle, so because they're proofed, you don't want to knock them down or burst the air out, or however you say it. I'm not professionally trained in baking. I am 100% self-taught and Pinterest taught. Oh, Pinterest. So, each strand, give it a nice brush, and this is going to give it a great outer texture and that gorgeous glossy finish. And now to the 6-strand. 1 egg, if you have extra large eggs, might do. I think 1 egg probably would have. Whoops, spilled a little on there. Spread it out quick. I think 1 egg might have been adequate this morning because I seem to have some pretty big eggs here. But give it all a brush. The oven is preheated to 350. And we're going to bake them for about 25 to 30 minutes. You can tell by looking in there that they are a good golden brown. And it can be difficult because with all these braids, the inside can stay a little dense. So you're going to want it darker than the average loaf of like an Italian or something like that, because they need to cook more on the inside. So you're going to see a little bit darker, but a good toasted golden brown is the color you're going for. And they're going in the oven now. Ready to come out of the oven. All right. Whew. And there we have it. This one pulled apart a little bit in the braid. I might have had that too tight, but there they are. The 6-strand loaf. You can see how when there's a difference in the size of the strands, it can make it a little funny, lumpy, and uneven, but it is still really unique and delicious. Kind of impressive for people who don't bake bread, so it's okay if it's funny looking. It'll still knock people's socks off. So, you're going to want to let it cool before you cut into it, which is so hard because hot challah with some butter on it is so yummy. You can slice it, you can use it as pull-apart bread and pull apart the lumps. It is so good. Thank you so much for sticking around with us today and listening to my kids yell at each other about Minecraft. If you like this video, check out the rest of the videos on my channel. You can like it and subscribe to the channel. See all of our other craziness going on. But thank you for sticking around with us today. Hope you have a great weekend.